Welcome back, everyone. I am Pacific, and you're watching the penultimate day of the Lady Arcaders Super Showcase 2023 on twitch.tv/Lady Arcaders. I'm very excited to be your host for our upcoming Legend of Zelda block, including Skyward Sword by PippyInATopHat and a Link to the Past randomizer by Grey Goo Girl. And checking out those incentives that we have here, we're about to close the Skyward Sword file name incentive, and right now it's tied between Uwu and Spoomples. So, if you want to just come in and just a single donation will push that over the edge. That tie is currently tied. So right now, you can donate right now and just push it right over the edge, and you can have the choice of the file name. So for those of you who may have just joined us, we are here benefiting the amazing charitable organization CARE. CARE is a global charity that places gender equality at the center of everything they do. They respond to international crises, fight for economic, climate, and health equality, as well as access to food and water. They provide resources to women to pursue economic justice by empowering them to start businesses or pursue quality education. CARE knows that with the proper resources, women have the power to lift entire communities out of poverty and are working toward that goal around the world. If you'd like to donate, type !donate in the chat. We also have the Muse Dash Flip the Track incentive that you can also put your donation towards as an addition to that poll for Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And I have some information about Muse Dash Showcase by Fina2112. Flip the Track, basically, the last few songs, it's going to be basically a mirror option if you're familiar with rhythm games. So it's going to force the track to flip the notes. So as the notes and the enemies on the top line are going to be on the bottom, and then the ones that are on the bottom line are going to be on top. So basically, the songs are already on hard difficulty. This is going to be even more challenging because her muscle memory, she won't be able to rely on her muscle memory. She's going to have to reverse everything. So she's going to actually have to hit the keys with the opposite hands that she normally would. It's very cool. So you all are definitely going to want to help us get to meet that incentive before we get there, which is coming up after our Zelda block here. So make sure to get y'all donations in. We got a donation from Rose as Romeo, $20, saying Skyward Sword. Good luck, Pippi, and thanks to LASS for raising money for a good cause. Thank you so much for that donation. Now, folks, let's get hyped for our next run. We are ready for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword 90% on the Wii by the incredible PippyInATopHat. Whenever you're ready, Pippi.
Hello, everyone. As Pacific said, I am PippyInATopHat, I suppose. Welcome to Skyward Sword SD 90% for the Nintendo Wii. If you have never seen a Skyward Sword run before, I am so excited to introduce you. But I will warn you, it's gonna go off the rails almost immediately. We kind of have a breakneck pace and we do not stop. So we are gonna have to get a few things out of the way before we can hit go. First and foremost, I take all of my life advice from video games that came out in something like 1986, and one of them told me that I should never go alone because it's dangerous. I'm not alone, am I?
I don't think so. I think I'm here.
Oh, wonderful. Who are you?
I'm Gymnast86, and I can talk about this game. So I'm here to talk about this game while Pippi does the run.
Ideally, that's how it's supposed to work. But thank you for joining me on this adventure. Other things to mention real quick before we get started, and before we put in our file name, can't wait to see what won the tie, is that, as you can see, this game is in Japanese. Japanese is the fastest language. It's just faster. Also, if you see that little insignia in the background of two of our files, those are Hero Mode files, which is the equivalent of a New Game Plus. It's going to have a couple of benefits that we'll use throughout the run. We are going to deal more damage under certain circumstances. We're going to take more damage, which is mandatory. We're going to be able to skip cutscenes, which is obviously fast, and we're going to be able to play certain mini-games that we wouldn't otherwise play because mini-games are fun and I swear it's fast. I believe that's all of our starting information. Am I missing anything?
Not that I can immediately think of. No, that hits all the bullet points.
Wonderful. Pacific, what's my name?
All right, we did get a tiebreak there. So right at the end, our donations came through for Uwu, all lowercase, U-W-U.
Wonderful. Uwu. Thank you
Thanks so much for those donations towards care, y'all.
All right, and I think without further ado, we're ready to, break this video game. That I think is the plan. So, when I hit this button, we will be starting time. So that'll happen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go for it. First thing we're going to do is skip cutscenes, because that's fast. We're going to make use of that hero mode file immediately. But the second thing we're going to do is start doing some random things. Seemingly random. We know what we're doing, I think. Which is, we're gonna go talk to Fledge. And we actually don't need anything that Fledge has to say. But... Hey, we're gonna start the comp sci lecture early. Hey Jim, you wanna start on what's bit?
Oh boy, what's bit?
What's bit?
Alright. So, bit stands for back in time. And it is the most prominent glitch in this game that's used in pretty much every category. So what back in time is it's basically a way that we can play on the game's title screen. Alright? So normally when you boot up the game, right, you go to the title screen and it's just sort of like an infinitely panning camera that allows you to select your files. Obviously you're not supposed to have control there. But with a specific series of actions, we can actually gain control on the title screen. And this is important because it turns out that the game reacts very weirdly when you have control of it, and you're able to select file data. Also, a very nice jump, Pippi. Congratulations.
Thank you. That was a skip. That didn't look like it, but we just skipped a cutscene right there.
Yeah, that jump was actually a lot harder than Pippi made it look.
I like to call that final boss skip, because it's the final boss of the speedruns getting off Skyloft. But anyway, continue. We're just rescuing a remlet. Once again, seemingly random actions will be very important very soon.
Yeah, you're not actually required to do this to complete the game. This is just sort of like an extra, like, tutorial segment that you can trigger to, like, learn about the fact that you can push boxes and stuff. But the reason that we're doing it here in the speedrun is because we want the game to remember the fact that we did this. Because if you do this, then the game saves, you know, some information to the memory that, oh yeah, you did this thing. And that's important because that information will be useful on the title screen.
Here comes the mandatory part where this trick is very difficult and I might fail it a couple times and fall to the ground and take damage. Oh no.
Oh no.
What am I doing wrong?
Oh, yeah, clearly if you take damage, that means that you're not very good at the video game.
I really should reconsider being a speedrunner for this. Oh darn. I've missed it twice. Let's see if the third time... Oh, darn it.
Oh well.
Oh.
Well, thankfully that's what we have to do.
Yeah, that was, if you couldn't tell, by our great acting skills. That was intentional. Because what I just did was hit continue. I know it's in Japanese, but I hit continue. And also reset on my console in a pretty lenient window. And now, as Jim said, we are on the title screen. I can
Yes, we are on the title screen.
select files if I want to. I don't actually necessarily want to right now because I only have one file. It only has one file to look at for data, but I do want to void out over here because it's gonna just put me on the other side of that gate, so that we can do our first fun back in time trick, which is called a bit save. we're going to use this save statue to save my game on the title screen. And it is going to, next time I load in this file, load me in where I saved, which is at that save statue on Skyloft, but this isn't the normal Skyloft. This is a funky version of Skyloft that is usually only available on the main title screen. And it has some quirks. Like, there was supposed to be a door there to keep me from doing this and...
Thanks everybody for your patience while we dealt with that small audio issue that we had, but our tech team was amazing and I think we have it ready to go for y'all, so let's take it away. Continue where we left off whenever you're ready, Pippi.
Hello again. Sorry for the quick interruption, but I'll unpause and we can resume the timer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So fun fact, this is a scary place to pause the game, because if I accidentally clicked on any of those files, I would lose the sword I just picked up, because fun fact, that sword I just picked up is a loner. I'm just using it this once to hit this pedestal that I'm gonna need to put away the tablet that we have at the beginning of the game. Our goal in this game is to collect all 3 tablets that unlock the 3 main areas of Skyward Sword and put them in this pedestal so we can get to those areas and then go to the end of the game. But we're putting it away on the title screen, and we don't actually get to keep that. Most of the things that happen on the title screen, other than like bit saves, do not get to be kept unless they happen right after I hit the big shiny start button. So I just waited for a certain moment during that cutscene and hit the big shiny start button, and right afterward, it should have made the Farron pillar appear, because that tablet has been placed. And now I have loaded into my file, which is on that weird map that does not have a door here. I love the continued absence of doors. And since the sword was not picked up after I hit start, I do have to pick it up again. So this one I get to keep, because there's not a file screen in the way. But that's called an RBM, or reverse bit magic. To my knowledge, it contains no reversing, no time travel, and no magic. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, when it was named, it seemed like it was magic. So that's where the magic comes from. But yes, as far as we know, there is no magic involved.
So we're just gonna hit this pedestal because we're gonna need it later. And it should be empty because we didn't place anything on it on this file, but it's not. It's supposed to be like that. So it looks to see if the Farron pillar has been activated on the file that I'm playing on, and if the Farron pillar has been activated, it just puts that tablet there. So we did it! We have access to the first area. We're gonna go there immediately, right?
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 Yeah? No.
No?
We're gonna do some fun file setups. I can finally pick up a stamina fruit, which this game is famous for its excellent and very popular stamina functionality. But I haven't been able to pick one up until now because it wouldn't have been saved, and I don't want to watch that animation multiple times. But now we're gonna go watch a cutscene and say hi to Groose, because we have to save my Loftwing. I hope everybody likes Groose. Clearly they don't like him too much because he didn't win the file name incentive. But this is Groose. That was Groose. And we're immediately gonna go back to doing seemingly random things. This is my favorite part of the run. It's where we judge a woman's furniture for a very small amount of time. I hope you're ready. We are speedrunners. We're gonna try and do it fast. Alright. Go!
I give it a 7.
Fair judgment. That's all the time you get. So once again, we're trying to make the game remember... Pick up the stamina fruit, please, Link. We're trying to make the game remember some random stuff, and one of them is that we've exited that woman's house. I'm not sure why that's a thing the game remembers.
Yeah, that's just a flag that exists.
It's very convenient.
I don't believe there's any other flag for exiting someone's house, but that one exists, and it happens to be in a very convenient spot in memory, so we use it.
So we're going to, as I said, be getting a very specific file setup that's going to help us for the rest of the run. But it requires some very silly nonsense. Oh no, I'm taking damage. Please get off of me!
It's getting a little scary there with the key syringe you also.
Everything's fine. Intentional damage down. But the first thing we're going to do for this file setup is we're gonna watch this cutscene so I don't have to watch it again, and then save my game. Some complicated things are going to happen. All I want you to remember is that I'm saving and quitting and creating a copy of file 1, which is the file we're on, onto file 3. When I next load in on file 3, I will load in here. I think that's the important part. And then we're gonna have fun with layers. Hey Jim, you understand this stuff, right?
I think I do, yeah.
Okay. Do I?
Probably, yeah.
We hope I do. But essentially we're trying to create a layer that will not crash on the title screen, because a lot of things will crash. Which, the only way we can enter the sky on the title screen is by entering the flight tutorial. But first we have to do the flight tutorial. So I'm gonna learn how to fly, and hey Pacific, how are you doing?
Hey, I've got some donations coming in. Do we have some time?
Oh yes.
I have $10 from Day, who says, "Good luck, Pippi. So excited to watch another fun run from my favorite sentient top hat." Thank you so much for that donation, Day. We also have $5 from The King's Pride, saying, "Oh no, Pippi, you died!" Anyway, good luck on the run from your mod team. We're so proud of you. Can I get a QQ from the runners?
Okay, just this once. Got third key for free. So now we're gonna do an interesting trick that'll probably fail. It's fine, you only get one shot on it, but there's a backup. Hey Jim, you wanna explain this while I listen to things?
Yeah, so coming up, Pippi's gonna be saving at this save prompt, and right after this, there is a 2-frame window where she can get a side hop to see if she can get outside of this cutscene trigger.
Oops.
So yeah, unfortunately, we still activated the cutscene. There isn't really like a great cue for it, unfortunately, so it's kind of just like either mash or you have to really know when you get control of Link initially. But it's not too bad because there is a backup that Pippi mentioned. Basically, because this is Skyward Sword, the next thing we want to do is kill Link so that we can activate back in time again. So now the fastest way to do this is actually pretty good. In case you didn't know, these barrels actually have the ability to deal damage to you if they are traveling fast enough. So what Pippi is doing now is she's taking this barrel, continuously throwing it so that she can get it over to this incline right here, and she's going to throw it up the incline and then have it just roll back down into her.
Apparently it missed. It's okay, everybody likes playing Donkey Kong, right?
Yeah.
It's a classic.
I mean, this is still faster than the previous alternative that was used before we figured out that rolling this barrel would do damage.
Yes, we used to have to, so for some reason back in time, it's because, oh hey, we're trying to enter back in time. Please. Thank you. Thank
There
you.
we go.
Run over my toe, barrel. We're trying to enter Back in Time. Back in Time doesn't activate on certain maps, so you might be thinking, just go interact with those slimes. That was how you did the rest of the damage. No, it doesn't work on that map. That makes too much sense. So instead we have to go play with barrels. And before we knew about barrels, we had to go run a long way and then jump off a cliff. But right now what I'm doing is I'm actually using some silly nonsense to make a copy of file 3, sorry, to the file 2 slot. But it doesn't look like there's anything there. And then I bit saved file 1 again, and what that's gonna let me do is call my Loftwing in Back in Time, because we did just gain the ability to call my Loftwing on file 1, which is very important. But I'm now going to look at this file. Oh, this empty file really likes Ubu. Hit start. And because of the nonsense we did, we're just gonna be, loading for a while, actually. In the sky. Welcome to the sky. And the first thing I'm gonna do in the sky is attempt to smash my face into a bird and miss horribly. Alright. That's okay. We'll go talk to that bird later. He can be kind of rude. But what we actually need to do is listen to this 5 cutscene, because this gives us the ability to jump off of our bird. But we don't actually want to do that. We want to jump off of our bird, but not have our bird. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, the file setup is kind of weird here. We want the ability to jump off of our bird before we get our bird. So to achieve this, we first have to get our bird on another file, load the bird in Back in Time, and then perform what's known as a reverse bit warp, so that we can get into the sky on a bird, despite the fact that this file does not have the bird, so we can get the ability to jump off the bird. That makes perfect sense. I'm sure you all understood it very well.
We got there. Also, reminder that file 2 is a copy of file 3, and file 3 is loading in where? Oh, here! File 3 needs to save my bird. Because it doesn't have a bird. Oh my god, my bird! We better rescue that bird. It wasn't
I
like...
believe it got caught again.
Yeah, this is a serial kidnapping of my bird. I'm upset. But now we have gained the ability to call my bird on file 2. That's gonna be important. And now that we've rescued my bird, we are going to enter into the Loftwing tutorial. And Zelda is gonna once again teach me how to fly a bird. But I already did this and I already know how to fly a bird, so I'm gonna just count a little bit. She's gonna start talking to me, it's fine. I don't really care what she has to say. Oh right, we can just jump off. So, because we had watched that Fi cutscene, we have the ability to jump off of our bird, and we can fly over here. Say hi to a friendly rock. Hi, rock. And then immediately go to the Farron Pillar, and we will finally be exiting Skyloft. We've had the Farron Pillar open for a little bit, but now we're set up. Our file setup is good for the rest of the run, except wait, it isn't. We're gonna have to do some more nonsense. It's okay though, because it's not nearly as confusing. At least I don't think it is. But now that we are entering a new area of the game, it is typically best practice when entering a new area of the game to immediately save your game, because who knows what might be awaiting for us on this next leg of our adventure. It could be scary monsters, it could be angry Kikwis, it could be, you know, a very scary ledge that if you fall off of it, you die. Oh, I died.
That's unfortunate. Well, why don't we follow it up with 5 minutes of title screen?
That sounds like a plan. Tell me about the title screen.
Yeah, so this next back in time sequence is probably the most complicated in the entire run. So Pippi just entered the Farron region, right? It's not possible to continue in that region right now due to how we've sequence broken the game. So Pippi has to do some fun back in time stuff to continue in Farron. So this entire sequence right here is basically going to go all the way to the Skyview Temple in the Farron region. So Pippi is setting some stuff up right now, is performing another bit save right here with file 3. Once we finish this back in time sequence, file 3 is the file that we're going to be continuing to run on for a while. And now she can call the Loftwing in back in time, and she can fly over to the single loading zone that's actually active right now, which is like over here near the windmill, to get to the sky. And because now we load into the Loftwing tutorial in the sky, this is the one layer of the sky that does not crash in back in time. Basically, if you try to load the sky into any other layer or into any other state, the game basically runs out of memory to load things, and then just crashes. But thankfully, this one layer is just small enough to fit inside the remaining memory that the game has on the title screen here. And now Pippi is diving towards the Farron Pillar. You might be wondering why she didn't just fly the Loftwing all the way over to the Farron Pillar. But during the Loftwing tutorial, there's like an invisible barrier that you can't fly past for the Loftwing tutorial, so we basically just want to fly as close to the Farron Pillar as we can get, and then dive off of the Loftwing to get into the Farron Pillar, because the barrier only blocks the Loftwing from going forward, not Link if he's just diving. Also, here's a magic log. That magic log is courtesy of Fledge earlier. Because we talked to Fledge, we loaded in the relative memory value of having talked to Fledge, which when interpreted in the sealed grounds, means that that log has been pushed down. Because both talking to Fledge and pushing on that log share the same relative memory value in the sealed grounds and Skyloft, respectively. So now we're just making our way further into Farron.
There we go.
We need to skip the log there, very nice. That skips a small cutscene that the game normally shows where when you push the log over, it's like, hey, did you know you pushed the log over? So it saves a few seconds. And yeah, so now we're just continuing to go through. This is actually a state of the Farron Woods that you wouldn't normally see in the game. This is Layer 0. The first time you come here, you're supposed to be seeing Layer 1, but because we didn't do some stuff in the sealed grounds, it's just going to be Layer 0 here. Pippi's going to be doing a save here, because we need to load in some more values from one of our Skyloft files, but for the value that we want to load in, we can't actually get the effect that it has unless we die and respawn in this area. So that's why Pippi saved and is now taking damage from this Octorok so that she can get a game over and just continue again. Because we specifically want the vine that unfurls to allow us access to the deep woods to be down. That vine correlates with exiting the house where we judged the woman's furniture. So now that we died and respawned, the vine will be down, and we can use it to get to the deep woods.
There's actually no other way that we can put the vine down other than loading it in as data from another file, because if you've played the game casually, you would know that Farron is where you're supposed to pick up our first item of the run, the slingshot. And the slingshot's actually pretty special. Oh, please, jump on the vine. Because it also gives us the ability to use items, just in general. We will not be using items for this entire run because we don't have the slingshot. So also because we do not have any kind of projectile, we cannot hit that vine down. So thank you, woman's house whose furniture we judged. Also, I'm about to enter a loading zone, and I'm just going to hit start, wait a moment, and then skip that cutscene. And now, if I played all my cards right, I am, what, 2/3 of the way through Skyview Temple? Something like that?
Yeah, about 2/3.
However, some things aren't loaded correctly. There's supposed to be enemies around here and such, and also a tightrope that we can get across to get to Girahim, who is the boss of this area, but it doesn't exist. So I have to enter another room. This is the fastest room to enter. And exit that room. And it's gonna trigger the area to just kind of recheck what's loaded, and, hey look! Oh!
Now it's time for the spider.
I don't like the spider.
Okay.
Oh, and I missed!
Well, that is okay.
Yes, getting hit by the spider is bad. Missing the ledge on the other side just is time loss. I didn't like that, actually. I'm gonna be a little bit overcautious because this trick is, very lenient, but very scary. There we go!
There we are, yes.
So, I am at 2 hearts, which, because I'm on hero mode and I take double damage, is actually 1 health in most instances. This is the tightrope that we needed to walk across, by the way. Hi, Craig, can you move out of the way? Thank you, Craig. This is actually a safety save, by the way. I will be doing safety saves. So, I can't save before getting to that statue across the way. And if I were to take damage, I would respawn where my file was last spawned, which was on Skyloft. Before all of the nonsense, because this is file 3, not file 2, the one that's in Farron Woods, and I would have to do that entire bit sequence again. Please. Also, good thing to note is that, hi, I live on the East Coast. We are in the middle of a heat wave, and if I am visibly sweating, I missed the vine, good job. If I am visibly sweating, it is definitely because of the heat wave, and not because I'm nervous, because speedrunners definitely don't get nervous.
Oh no, never.
The handshake is definitely, not nerves, also the heat. But I actually had to hit that vine with a Skyward Strike into the void to make my Skyward Strike long enough to hit it. Because once again, I don't have the items, and I don't have the slingshot. And now instead of doing the intended way back, I'm just gonna take the vines back. I now have the boss key and can enter the boss.
We have obtained the most 3-dimensional of H's.
Yes. H, by the way. We only have 2 boss keys in this entire run, and they both happen to look like letters. I love that. So I'm now going to try to beat up Girahim as best I can. I can't take damage, remember? That's why the safety save is there, because I'm at 1 health. But Girahim took my haircut, and I'm upset about it still, so I'm going to fight him over it. Hey, Jim, want to talk about what I'm doing? Because I'm not going to.
Yeah, sure. So the start of the Girahim fight is pretty simple. You just kind of bait his hand one way and then hit him from the other direction. Do that 4 times, and he licks his lips, and he's like, alright, time for phase 2. So this phase, it's mostly just like somewhat hack and slash at him when he becomes vulnerable. We don't want to see darts. Darts are just kind of slow. Because when he spawns in darts, we kind of just have to hit him away and wait for his next attack. Okay, yeah, he's not cooperating right now. He's just standing there and then jumping back and spawning darts and teleporting. And there we go. Get some damage in on him. So ideally, Pippi will want to be doing a slash and then a spin attack on each of these small cycles, because there's actually a damage multiplier that will get applied for the 3rd hit in each sequence, and we want that damage multiplier to apply to the quick spin, which has a slightly higher attack damage value than the regular sword slash. And if it's done well and correctly, it'll cut off a single cycle of the fight.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna again blame the heat that I was moving my nunchuck when I wasn't supposed to be and messed up a couple of those cycles, but still beat him, so definitely blaming the heat. That's the heat's fault, not mine.
They don't mention this in the game, but Girahim is actually very jealous of Pippi's top hat and is trying to steal it. But thankfully, Pippi was able to defeat Girahim, so he can't get the top hat.
That's so rude!
I know.
I didn't know this. I haven't read the deep lore. Fun fact, we could pick up that hurt container. It wouldn't actually waste too much time, if any, because this door is on a cycle for some reason. However, we're on file 3 right now. If you'll remember, I hit start on file 3 when I was entering Skyview Temple, and Link... Sometimes my nunchuck has been disconnecting randomly. So that's fun. That's an extra challenge. But I'm on file 3, and I'm actually going to be completing this run on file 1. As is tradition, it's the file that we started on. It feels correct. So I would lose that heart again when I move from file 3 to file 1. We'll be transferring some of our data in between files, but we will not be transferring our health total. So that heart container is useless. Almost useless. Pretty much useless.
Yeah, pretty much useless.
So I just hit save there. I didn't actually enter back in time, but I did hit reset on my Wii console because I don't want to be on file 3 anymore. I want to get back to Skyloft, because Skyloft is where we can put the tablet away. And the fastest way to get to Skyloft, this is like a little known fact that like a taxi driver around Hyrule will tell you if you're really nice to them. The fastest way to get to Skyloft is actually to jump off of a cliff and enter back in time. And also bonk a tree.
Yes, the tree bonk coming up. It's important.
Anytime I bonk this tree on the title screen is actually intentional, I swear, and is updating what it's, like, reading from files in memory. It is trying to read data from file 1 onto the title screen, and on file 1, this door at the top of the stairs is open. So now that I've bonked a tree, the door at the top of the stairs is open. I don't have to wait out anymore. But I want to enter this area on file 3. So I'm going to hit start and then enter this loading zone, and it's going to place me on file 3, where we have the tablet that we can place.
Yeah, so that's another example of a reverse bit warp, where you start a file on the title screen, and then normally, you know, when the file loads, it's supposed to spawn you where you saved. But if you run into a loading zone on the title screen as the file is loading in, the game will instead say, oh, you entered this loading zone, you should spawn here now, instead of the location that you actually saved at.
This cutscene is actually a soft lock, but no, it's not, because we're on hero mode and can skip cutscenes, which means we can skip the soft lock. It just spawns the camera in the floor, and then the camera can't move, and then it gets stuck. Hero mode is great.
I believe the camera is just like in the everything about the camera's position and angle is just 0. So that's what it's showing us. It's at the origin of the map, facing angle 0.
It's just unfortunately we're not where it's supposed to be for this.
Yeah.
But I now want to travel to Eldin, and a different taxi driver from the other one, still reputable, I swear, take a lot of taxis in Hyrule apparently, told me that the fastest way to get to Eldin was also to jump off a cliff on file 2. So we are going to... What? Oh. Apparently we're going to pick up a stamina fruit by accident. Ooh. would have thunk it's hard to play a video game with menus in the way? But we're going to bit save with file 2, which gives us the ability to call our Loftwing. And then we're going to jump off of this cliff and call our Loftwing. I have to be sure I'm looking at file 2 every single time I enter the sky, otherwise it's going to crash. Once again, crashes abound in Back in Time. Which is also why you'll see me randomly like selecting files and going back to the splash screen and doing stuff like that. Those are to mostly avoid crashes, or to make things happen that shouldn't otherwise happen. Also, I said we're going to Eldin, but we're actually making a quick pit stop in Theron, because I don't want to actually go to the beginning of Eldin. I want to go to the end of Eldin. Because why on earth would I play Eldin when I don't have to? This is speedrun. Yeah.
If you remember when Pippi entered Skyview Temple, she started file 3 and then entered Skyview Temple to do a reverse bit warp. Because she had previously saved at a statue, when the game spawned her in Skyview, it actually spawned her at the coordinates of the statue that she saved at. The reason that didn't happen for the previous one inside the Statue of the Goddess is because she saved at a save prompt, and a save prompt won't overwrite your coordinates when you reverse bit warp with it. But in this case, we want these specific coordinates here of this statue in the sealed grounds. So now that Pippi has saved file 3 there, she's going to head back to the sky with file 2, and now she's going to go to Eldin. And now when entering into Eldin, she'll start file 3, and we'll reverse bit warp in with those specific coordinates, which will drop her in an interesting place that we will see momentarily.
First, to get there, I'm just gonna attempt to do a fun little movement something. For whatever reason, if I can call my Loftwing through this little zipper rock thing, it makes you go noticeably faster. We didn't get stuck. Also, the Eldin Pillar's not there, but believe me, it is there, it's just invisible.
Yes.
But huzzah!
Huzzah!
I have started my file, and now we're in Eldin.
And we're out of bounds.
We're out of bounds. We're actually in a playable test for Breath of the Wild, I think?
Yes, I believe this is the part of the map that just lets you climb all the walls.
Yes. So we are going to try to get high enough on this slope that we can jump over that, like, river of lava next to me in a single jump. So that we can get back inbounds, but also be at the top of the volcano, where progression is. And there's some interesting collision out here.
That was totally normal.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna be normal.
This is definitely very normal.
Fun fact, that's one of the scariest moments in the run. I'm more scared of that than I am the final boss. Yeah, the developers were very nice to us when they put collision on, like, super far out of bounds. That we can even get over here is kind of incredible. But huzzah, we've made it back to our inbounds, and oh no, I'm only at 1 health again. I wonder why I'm doing that. Ooh, watermelon glitch. Watermelon glitch is purely visual, but sometimes my stamina wheel just looks like a watermelon. It's cute.
So fun fact, it is indeed faster to die in lava, water, or a void than it is to die on the floor, which is why we ran over to the lava instead.
Yeah, the majority of the time we will be trying to die into voids, mostly. A lot of
voids and lava. We don't really see any water in the run, so
I'm
not
sorry,
much opportunity
no
to die
bad
there.
tones. But now Link is actually going to go take a nap. So, Pacific, if you have a quick donation during the sleepy time or anything else you'd like to say to lull Link to sleep,
I have a donation from Asher. It's $15, and they say, "Hey Pippy, hope you're having fun on your reverse bit magical run, and remember to not press A."
Okay. I just
let me
pressed A.
know whenever you have time for an incentive update as well for our upcoming incentives.
I'm just going to go push a gravestone, so you have another minute or so.
Great. I wanted to update y'all that we do have a new poll opened up for Stardew Valley to choose the bachelorette that is going to be chased after in the Marriage Percent run. We have a choice between Abigail and Haley. And then also we have our Animal Crossing Who Are We Designing For poll. Right now we have Kid Cat in the lead with Tom Nook in second place. And I just wanted to share some insider information with y'all about one of the options here, Sable, which, you know, I'm not biased, but I just want you to know that there may be a surprise if we choose Sable. Basically, if we want our runner Critique Quartz to stress out, well, she gives the hardworking hedgehog a great vacation home. This is the one to pick. And chat, we all love Critique Quartz, right? We would certainly not want to make her job harder, right?
Now, if I could interrupt, this is Archibald. Jim, how do you feel about Archibald?
He's, I wish he would cooperate a little bit better most of the time, but, yeah. That's not a great position.
Yeah, we're trying to manipulate him into a certain range of angles, and because I'm being extra cautious, I'm gonna be a little bit extra picky. And he's not cooperating. Because I don't have items, I can't cut that rope up there. Oh, by the way, I'm in the Earth Temple. The Earth Temple was in a gravestone the entire time. But I can't cut that rope up there. Oh, that would have worked if my diagonal had worked correctly. Oh, no. It's fine. We can try that again. And that means you get to see a funny visual glitch if I can pull it off correctly. But I just have to leave and reload the area to respawn Archibald the Keese. But yeah, so I can't angle Skyward Strikes upward. So I have to target an enemy and put him between me and the thing I'm trying to hit with my single type of projectile. And hope it works.
Oh. Archibald's brother was not happy about that one.
That was aggressive. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to kill your brother. Should've only. Why? Okay, apparently we don't get to see fun damage down visual glitch. Oh my god!
This is some aggressive fire keys today.
Could watch me panic of thinking I was gonna die from the fire. Sometimes. Archibald. There we go.
Yeah, so normally the game expects you to have the beetle, which you can, fly around in various ways to cut that rope. But we do not have any items on the bee wheel, so that is not an option for us in this speedrun.
I would like you to attack, thank you. He has a very long window after he attacks where he won't attack again, and I can just run by him. Usually, like, right as you run over, he attacks. Sometimes he doesn't, and it just gives me anxiety. But I'm gonna save my game because, this section has a lot of, like, ball rolling and bombing of objects and things, and, I definitely have bombs, right?
There is some lying around. I'm sure we can use them.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna not press A. Pressing A is currently illegal, and chat, if you would like to play along at home, you can refrain from pressing A too. I didn't press A there. I opened the Wii Motion Plus tutorial menu, and if you press A on the Wii Motion Plus tutorial menu, it doesn't count. Would you like to view the Wii Motion Plus tutorial? I'm really thinking about it. Now you can press A. Had chat too.
It is now legal to press A again. Many times, in fact, so we can get through this text.
Yes. So we actually wanted to enter this room with no file data loaded, and in order to do that, we need to not exit the splash screen. So we then talked to Pippit, because Pippit's a good dude. I relate to him very heavily, no one knows why. And then light my butt on fire, because Pippit showed us a bridge that doesn't exist. Oh hey, the bridge exists! We actually, of course I died intentionally. I'll tell you proudly if the deaths are not intentional. But we died there so that it would reload the room, because Pippit actually set the value for that bridge being up, so we didn't have to do that long rolling puzzle. And we just had to reload the room for it to actually, like, reflect that, so we could walk on the bridge. Which is, I think, generally what you do with bridges. So, you're supposed to bomb an alcove in this section. But I don't have bombs, so I'm gonna try screaming. It worked.
Contrary to previous advice, you want to press the A button a lot right there.
Yeah. That is called a stutter sprint. I believe. That's what I've always called it. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Neat. That was an actual safety save, by the way. Just by mashing the A button kind of rhythmically, we can sort of artificially extend our stamina wheel to get a little bit extra distance out of it and have just enough to get up that slope. And we get up this slope and pick up another key, which means it's time for another boss. That's the boss.
It is indeed the boss.
The boss is an Indiana Jones rush. Wow, we defeated it easily. I'm very impressed. Oh, but it continues. But yes, this is our second and final dungeon boss of the run. I hope you like the letter D, by the way. And now we're going to go listen to Girahim talk a bunch. But it's in Japanese, so I don't know what he's saying. Quick, somebody make something up.
He's talking about how he really wants your top hat.
No. Don't take any of them. I love them. They're also sentient. Also a good time to mention, those little funny camera things that I've been doing upon entering certain areas, just kind of breaks the camera for a second, and lets us control Link faster. Very fun.
Gotta get those minor time saves in.
Yes. Even with how much time I wasted to retrying Keys Yeet, which is the trick with Archibald, by the way. I don't know if I said the name. It's very silly. But we do have to save those, like, 1 second at a time, right? So Girahim is going to introduce us to Scaldera, who you're supposed to beat with bombs. However, I don't have any, so I'm gonna have to make do. Oh god, how do I do this?
The spicy meatball is coming after you. What do you do?
Well, the first thing I do is take damage, because it's always a good time. And there are conveniently some bombs at the top of the stage that I can use, but we're gonna have to be a little bit specific. And apologies, I'm gonna focus for a second because I don't want to mess up some cycles.
Yeah, the cycle timing for when to throw the bomb flowers here is pretty precise, so best to focus and not mess it up. So see, on this cycle, Pippi is going to be doing enough damage so that Scaldera tries to go up immediately instead of running out the vulnerability timer that he normally has. And this is important because if you're trying to do bombless Scaldera here, and you don't, and the vulnerability timer runs out, you won't be able to do this Skyward Strike right here. That damages the eye.
Okay, nice. Good job. Luckily, we can just go try that again and pretend nothing ever happened. Oh hey, Girahim is gonna... Does Girahim talk if you retry the fight? I don't remember.
I believe he does, yes.
Oh, Girahim. We don't have to deal with the door. The door it'll give us. But Girahim still has to talk. Yeah, so I missed my Skyward Strike. Oopsie doopsie. Once again, this run can be a little bit harrowing since most of it is done at 1 health or the equivalent of it. Oh, this cutscene does not exist. For some reason. So, messing up a tiny bit can cause some interesting side effects. Luckily, we're past most of the parts of the run where that can cause me to have to redo like those entire long bit sequences we did at the beginning. But it's still a like unfortunate time loss. Anyway, I'm gonna fight a meatball. Hey Pacific, do you want chat with chat?
Yeah, actually, I have another donation from Kokiri. It's $25, and they say, "Go Pippi go! A certain dog is watching." Well, listening anyway.
That is my dog.
Wow, your dog can type.
My dog is very talented.
Amazing.
And also, can you tell I'm a Zelda nerd that my dog's name is Kokiri?
No. You? No. For our Animal Crossing incentive also, Kit Kat is still in the lead and Tom Nook is in second place. And our other options are Raymond, Isabel, and Sable, and these are again choosing for Animal Crossing New Horizons later tonight. They're choosing who Critique Quartz is going to be designing the perfect vacation home for.
I don't know if anybody else can tell, but that bomb almost missed and it gave me anxiety.
Yeah, I was like, It's okay though, everything's going good so far still.
For that attack, he just tries to roll towards you, but... Oh,
There we go.
Oh, excuse me. There we go.
There we go. Okay. We can blame the previous one on the nunchuck.
Yeah, definitely. He just tries to roll towards you when he does the Scaldera long legs attack. But he locks on really early. So I don't even turn the camera because I don't like turning the camera to look at things. Oh, hey, look, an absolutely useless heart container. I wonder if I'll pick it up. But I don't even turn the camera. I just kind of stand over there until the screen shakes. And that means he's locked on and he's not gonna move. And then I can just walk to the other side at my leisure and he will not hit you. But wow, 2 bosses down. Technically 2 to go. We're gonna fight one of them twice. Oh.
Bad nunchuck. Stop moving.
Yeah. I don't know why it's being extra interesting today. But once again, striking this crest is gonna give us the final piece of the tablet, which is the Amber Tablet, which opens up the Lanayru region. And the Lanayru region contains all sorts of cool stuff, like Lanayru Mining Facility, and Sand Ship, I think, and
the harp.
yeah, the harp! This game has a harp! You can play it with motion controls. It's a really cute idea, actually. And we're
Notice the word idea.
Oh no.
in concept, it's adorable. Oh, by the way, though, the fastest route back to going into the Skyloft is actually this time lighting your butt on fire. And also back in time. But yeah, the Lanayru region contains one other thing that we kind of like, and that's the Thunder Dragon. It is an area called Lanayru Gorge, and it contains the Thunder Dragon and the Boss Rush minigame. We would like to play that. Do not hit start on file 3. So we don't really care about anything else. Also, say goodbye to the bonk tree. That's the last time I'll be bonking that tree. It's served me well. But what I just did was I bonked the tree and then looked at file 3 and picked up a ruby, and that actually gave me access to the tablet that we just picked up back in time. So I can do exactly what I did with the first tablet, which is go over here and place it. The game's trying its best.
It sort of placed it in there. Link did the motion.
Yeah. The Elden Pillar was invisible. It just makes sense that something always be invisible. But once again, I'm gonna wait until a certain point in the cutscene. And then hit start. And now, the Lanayru Pillar exists on File 1. And it's been a while, File 1. You're over here. During that long bit sequence at the beginning, I saved File 1 at this statue back in time, and that's why it's here now. We were thinking ahead. By how long?
Like 40 minutes.
Yeah. The game is gonna try its best to maintain sequencing, though. It's telling me I think I can go to the Farron region? That place I just came from?
Yes.
We will not be going to the Farron region, because the Lanayru Pillar is way more shiny. Also, one of my favorite text boxes in the game. It's in Japanese, but that text box just says sky.
Yeah, in case you didn't realize in the last 20 seconds, you had entered the sky.
Also, fun fact, we are on File 1. File 1 doesn't really have the ability to call my Loftwing, I don't think. Does it?
Nope.
So...
I don't think so.
It's a good thing that it automatically calls my Loftwing when I leave the Farron Pillar, because if you jump off your Loftwing too soon, you just kind of infinitely void out.
Yeah.
But since we're entering a new area, just in case anything goes wrong, I'd like to save my game. Nothing can go wrong here, though, right? I'd have to go really far out of my way to make things go wrong. Oh. Really far out of my way. A hole ran out of stamina. But thanks to those convenient bombs, we can enter back in time and do our first bit warp. Not a reverse bit warp, a regular bit warp. Just plain old. Because we would like to be out of bounds, please. So, bit warps are thankfully quite a bit easier to do than reverse bit warps, and by that I mean they require less shenanigans. Since I don't have the access to the bonk tree anymore, I have to go back to voiding out over here, but a bit warp is just going to save my coordinates at this save statue and apply them to the map that the file is on by just hitting save and start at the same time. And now I'm over here.
And we are way out of bounds. Why is there collision here? Who knows? They probably generated the collision or something.
It's quite helpful. I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth.
But yeah, so we have bit warping and we have reverse bit warping. Bit warping is you take the coordinates from back in time and apply them to the map on the file. Reverse bit warping is you take the coordinates from the file and apply them to the map in back in time, which is where the reverse comes from. And the reason that this one that Pippy just did is called bit warping is simply because it was found first and was then named bit warping.
Even though we don't use it first anymore, and we in fact don't use it that much in the run anymore at all.
Yeah, this is one of two that we do.
The other one is going to look very similar. But as I mentioned earlier, there's a mini game that we just have to get to Lanayru Gorge. Getting to Lanayru Gorge is thankfully nice and easy when you have access to way far out of bounds. We just need to go through this nice conspicuous like hole that it just showed us. And now the game is totally convinced that we are allowed to be here. And because I entered a new area once again, it's probably best to save my game, but we're not going to be doing anything dangerous. No, we're going to be interacting with my personal best friend. This is a cactus.
Cactus with a bomb on top of it.
See, I relate to the cactus because we both have funny hats. We're gonna get very well acquainted with the cactus. But now that we are in Lanayru Gorge, we actually have to do a few things. They're just kind of making some edits to our file. So that we can actually play the boss rush minigame, because we're gonna do something fun called Girahim 3 Escape. We're not going to skip Girahim 3, in fact we're actually going to play it twice, but we're all going to escape Girahim 3. We also never did Girahim 2. I'm a speedrunner, math is hard. But before we do that, let's see if I can remember all of the things on the checklist to do, while also doing them. We need to blow up a rock that is blocking a minecart, and then spawn the minecart, and then move the minecart, and then spawn the Thunder Dragon. Oh, and I'm skydiving in the wrong direction. Good job, Pippy.
Yeah, skydiving when you don't really have a frame of reference for anything is actually very difficult. Because it's actually very difficult to tell what direction you're actually going without any sort of frame of reference besides the clouds.
Yeah, the clouds just tend to kind of drift. And so your frame of reference drifts with them. It's not ideal. But the first thing we have to do is blow up a rock, which you do using bombs, which is definitely what I am doing right now. That's what blowing up a bomb looks like. But we're gonna do something right there that's we haven't had to do yet in the run, called a file commit. I'm going to go shake hands with a cactus again, though. Hey, Jim, you want to take file commits? You know,
yeah. So for most of the run, this isn't something that we really have to worry about, just sort of situationally. But now that we're here in the Lanayru Gorge, when we do reverse bit magic to take a flag from Skyloft and put it onto the Lanayru Gorge, the effect of the flag does not immediately take effect. And so to actually make it take effect, what we need to do is we need to make some other change to the map somehow. Which in this case was just blowing up the rock near the cactus, because that's also a flag. So we blow up the rock near the cactus, the game recognizes that that's a flag that's set, and so it sets the flag for both the rock being blown up and for the other rock that was blocking the minecart path to be blown up as well, because that flag was also set, it just was not properly applied to the map yet.
We will be doing that one more time with everybody's favorite flag in the game. Remember to look at file 1. Me, if I don't look at file 1, the game will crash. I hope I am skydiving in the right direction. I kind of just skydive by feel, which is probably a bad idea, and I feel like real skydiving instructors would have a stress-induced heart attack at that thought. But it works, generally speaking. But we're gonna go set one of the best flags in the game. We're going to go rescue Machi the Kiwi. Now, we skipped the entirety of the Kiwi quest earlier because that was the quest that would have given you the slingshot. And we don't need the slingshot. We don't need any items. In fact, this is very close to just being a low percent run at this point. But we do need to save Machi regardless. Because Machi knows how to spawn a minecart? I don't know where he learned that. Regardless, he's very cute. Oh. Can I blame the nunchuck on that one?
Yes.
Nice. So this is gonna be the only time I think we fight Bokoblins intentionally in this entire run. Like. And apparently I'm gonna do it poorly. I'm showing you how not to fight Bokoblins. Ideally, you want to hit them both with one Skyward Strike from a distance, and it kills them in one hit. But we're gonna wait for Machi to start talking, and then mash A a bunch while after hitting start. Also, by the way, I think I'm legally mandated. Mandated.
Mandated.
I think I'm legally mandated to QQ at Machi at this point. But
Some screen rupee.
yes, we have once again committed our file change by spawning a green rupee that we do not want because why would I want a green rupee? I don't need money. Is there any? Actually, that's a legitimate question. Is there any Skyward Sword route that still requires money?
I mean, 100%, yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Money is a thing.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And like any percent no back in time doesn't need any. I think the only thing that like the any percent speedrun in all of its history, I think has ever needed money for was an optional like air potion, which you needed 20 rupees for, and that's about it.
Well, thankfully there's no water in this run, because again, no tad tones.
Yes.
Tad tone song is pretty though. We're once again going to do a regular bit work, because I'm going to do a jank jump. Out of bounds collision is quite permissive, but it does have its limits. I don't know why its limits are in the worst location possible, but they are.
Yeah, it's very coincidental that the out-of-bounds collision here ends just right before it would have been very convenient to have a little further. Because it ends just right about up here where this wall ends, but we kind of want to jump onto the ledge that's above here So we have to do this setup that Pippi's doing for what we call the jank jump, because it doesn't always work. This time it did, though, so that's good.
Nice.
We love the jank jump. Only when it works, though.
Yes.
I also don't know really why it works. You just have to have a very specific angle, and Link will just go, oh yeah, this is fine, and jump up onto that ledge, even though there's no flora below it. And by setting the map and then voiding out, we can have that angle. We're also gonna do a fun glitch that's shared between a bunch of Zelda games called a break slide. It's gonna help me get closer to this wall? Door? Is that really... I think that's supposed to be a door.
Yeah, it's a door.
And for some reason doing that spawns the minecart in, because Machi is a little plant-like wizard.
Yeah, Machi got it most of the way here, but we have to do the final leg on our own.
Skips a whole lot of escort mission, though. Thankfully.
Yeah, normally for, because, like, this is a very late game area, the game expects you to have basically all the items at this point, so we just can't do the actual escort quest here for the entire minecart, but we can do the last leg of it, because all you have to do is go over these platforms.
And also blow up that rock. That little platform in the middle there, that's where the other rock was that we blew up by blowing up a rock. And also hitting start during a cutscene and back in time. We blew up that rock. And that was really the only other thing in the way. I'm now gonna sit down and heal a heart. And then say hi to my best friend again. Because we're going to do, as I said, please stop looking at the statue. I'd like to see the minecart. I said stop looking at the statue, and then when the minecart landed, Link just turned 100% in the other direction.
He was just following orders.
I guess I wasn't specific enough. But this is going to be our last bit interaction of the run, and it's going to be very similar to one of our early bit interactions in the run, in that we are trying to enter the Skyview Temple again. Just happens that the flag that we need is over there. Well, I do some fun file shenanigans. Let's talk about Girahim 3 Escape, shall we? Girahim 3 Escape is, not back in time. I know it's surprising, that this game has glitches that are not back in time. We will not be on the file screen. But essentially, Girahim is gonna spawn in the sealed grounds, on, specifically platforms above the sealed grounds, and, it wants us to knock him off the platform that he's standing on. He will fall a set distance below that platform, and then spawn a new platform, and then it wants us to do one of those, fancy, like, it's the ending blow, right? The big fancy one.
Yeah.
To deal damage to him, lather, rinse, repeat. However, we don't want to do that because, again, we're not trying to beat Girahim. We're trying to escape. And escape looks like a save statue that's at the bottom of the arena. It is out of bounds. It is actually in a little box out of bounds, sandwiched between the edge of the stage, a wall, and an invisible wall. But it doesn't have a top. So we can just jump in, right? Well, no, as it turns out, Girahim has a void plane a set distance below him. So if we get too low below Girahim, we're gonna void out and it's gonna place us back at the top with Girahim so that we can continue the fight, because that's what we're supposed to be doing and the game wants us to do. However, if we can do some funny platform shenanigans and knock Girahim off with some pretty specific timing, we can get him low enough in the stage that the void plane below him is going to be below the floor. And that means that when we land on the floor, we can stand on the floor, and so we can drop into the top of that box, save our game, quit to menu, and then load in, hopefully, outside the minigame fight. It's about as complicated and obtuse as it sounds. However, it's very fun to look at. That we're gonna do some dangling to manipulate platforms. And it'll be fun and silly. Also, though, this is gonna be our last stint on the title screen during this run. Pacific, do you have anything else you'd like to sneak in?
Sure, yeah. An update on our incentives right now for Muse Dash Flip the Track. We are halfway through that, and with just a couple hours ago, so great job. We still need $125 more to make that incentive, and so we have a couple hours left. I know we can make it. It's going to be a really good one. For the last few songs, Fina is going to basically have the notes mirrored, so all the top notes will be on the bottom and vice versa. So it's already set on hard difficulties. It's going to be even harder. It's going to challenge her muscle memory, so she's going to have to hit the keys with opposite hands that she normally would. So make sure when you're donating, if you want to put it towards that incentive, make sure when you put in your donation amount, you have a just donate option, or you can click next, and that will give you some options to add incentives to your donation.
Wonderful. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but actually I had an alarm that was going off on my phone, and I went to silence it and almost missed my trick. It's okay though, I didn't.
Everything's fine.
Luckily on this one, unlike most bit interactions, that one we have confirmation from Phi that the second that we get through that bit interaction correctly, she appears to tell us that we did something wrong, but that means we did it right. This is the Thunder Dragon, by the way. We definitely totally saved him, and we have selected that we would like to fight Girahim 3, and now we're going to fight Girahim 3. And as I said, the point of this fight is to get Girahim low in the stage. Okay, we're being sassy. I don't love that Girahim. But step one is knock him off in a specific direction, because the save statue is on the other side of Girahim. Girahim is between me and the save statue. And now we're going to wait for his feet to touch the floor and count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was a little janky, but it worked. And now, if you'll notice, the platform below me is a little bit further away. What we're actually doing is manipulating the platforms to, instead of moving up and then in, move in and then up. Oh. He decided to be sassy and kill my timing by trying to punch me. No worries, I did not take damage yet, so...
Yeah, interestingly, Skyward Sword doesn't deal any damage to you when you void out.
It's very helpful in this video.
Yeah, unlike most previous 3D Zelda games.
I don't know how this route would work if we did take damage for voiding.
Normal mode. Woo! So the timing for hitting Girahim off there is also a little precise, because you want to do it right as the platform gets to the center before it moves up. If you do it a little earlier, and the platform below is a little farther out, it can sometimes mess things up. This trick is overall just like very finicky.
Okay, that's not great, but we'll have some extra RNG to deal with. Thanks, Munchuck. Well, now is my favorite part of the run. is we're gonna wait for him to touch the floor and then count to 2, and now mandatory participation. 1, 2, whee! Okay. What?
Oh, I think you side hopped.
All right, I was at an interesting angle. The good thing is that I aggressively safety saved. I didn't know you could touch the ground from there. So voiding out, we're just gonna do the trick again, don't worry about it. Voiding out during that trick sometimes sets him at a very, like, sets you at a different angle in relation to the platform, which means, that inputs don't quite go how you want them to. So, like, Link just went, yeah. Based on the current camera angle and the inputs you are giving, you want to go sideways. Wasn't where I wanted to go, actually. Not really. But that's okay. We just get to talk about silly platform stuff more. Also, shoutouts to the magical people who found this trick, because I sure don't know how you find something like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, for shoutouts to your average linker, Yao, by the way, for finding this. So this trick was discovered about a year ago, actually. Yeah, I think it was July 2022, if I remember correctly. But since we knew that if we could somehow get to the save statue here, that it would be, like, very useful for the any percent speedrun. And we've known that since, like, 2020, I want to say, so it made sense for some people to be messing around here to try and see if we could do anything. And lo and behold, it turns out we can. It involves hanging on platform ledges for at least 15 seconds at a time.
Alright. That went way cleaner. That one was way cleaner. So let's finally do the fun part. Mandatory Wii, right? 2. Wii!
Whee!
We just knock him off there. The timing's a little bit tight on that window. And hey, look, a save statue. So what we did there was knocked him off the platform and then immediately jumped down, because if we dawdled on that platform too much, then things would start rising and that would be bad. And then we had to be a little bit quick about that. But now that we've loaded that in, you can notice by the fact that the timer is gone at the top of the screen that we are not in the minigame mode fight anymore. We're in the real Girahim 3 boss fight. And I am at half a heart. Also, I just went back inbounds just to get back out of bounds again, because I have to go find Girahim. It's like Where's Waldo? Except not really at all. So, Girahim is actually back at the top center of the stage where the game thinks I should be loading into this fight, and we can't get there. So instead, we're gonna go for a run and have a think. Isn't this relaxing?
Just be sure to not fall through the floor. Ow.
Moment too late. Oh, hey, look, Girahim.
But yes, conveniently now, Girahim is like, aha, there's where he fell through the floor, and that's how he can locate you.
Yeah, interesting that there is just a voice plane there. Not sure why. Oh, there we go. So I have to hit him back inbounds before I can deal damage to him, and now this is the regular Girahim 3 fight, so I am trying to kill him. Oh, okay. Okay, or do a little turtle. But I had to knock him back inbounds, or else, say it with me now, the game is willing to crash. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, if Girahim's not on one of these orange platforms when you do the like final blows into his chest, the game really does not like that and will just crash. That's why I want him to get back into the center.
Alright, it's focus time for me, because I really would like this to go well. So, somebody else talk. Just not me.
Alright. But yeah, so this is definitely the hardest fight in the entire run. The second phase of Girahim 3 right here. Because normally you're supposed to have the fully powered up Master Sword, or the true Master Sword for this part. But we do not have that. We instead just have the tiny little Goddess Sword. So we have to do a lot of damage to Girahim. And ideally, we want to stun him with a Skyward Stab, which is just a Skyward Strike that we release with a stabbing motion, because we can stun lock Girahim 3 that way. The timing for it is very precise, though. So it can be hard to do. But thankfully Girahim also gave us the tennis attack, so he was able to redirect that back at him and now can get some slashes in. So the general pattern here is 4 slashes and then do a Skyward Stab, so that you can get as much damage on him as you can at once. Pippi is, of course, also on a half heart, so does not want to take any damage, otherwise we do have to do this sequence all over again.
This trick really does not want to cooperate with me today. I'm very sorry. Luckily,
Ooh, the lag.
yeah, I don't know why it lagged there. It normally doesn't. Oh, that's the battery.
Oh, yeah, that's once again, the dart's coming in to lose time.
Oh! Okay. Thank you for eating my input. Interesting.
We'll blame that one on the nunchuck also. Don't question, we'll just blame it on the nunchuck.
yeah, definitely on my nunchuck. Definitely my nunchuck.
But the good news is, now when you get to retry again, we have 6 hearts.
Yes, and that will persist through the next fight, because this is in fact the boss gauntlet. Okay, neat. Fun fact, my setup for that trick involves looking at the see-through portion of the hearts I don't have usually. So if I have hearts, I just gotta kind of wing it. Hope it goes through. There's a break in the fence there that is invisible. So this is the final boss gauntlet of Skyward Sword. It typically goes the Horde fight, then Girahim 3 with the platforms, and then the more standard portion of the Girahim 3 fight, and then straight to Demise. So, doing Girahim Escape, luckily skips all of the Horde fight, which is great because, hi, I'm not the most veteran runner of this game, but I'm told that the Horde fight with Goddess Sword sucks!
Yes, it is very awful, and I'm glad we do not have to do it here.
Also, grabbing the edge there makes Girahim stand up faster, and also glitch out a little bit. It's very fun to look at. It's kind of a low reward, high risk trick, because if you accidentally void out, some bad things can happen, and you have to do a longer backup, but it looks fun, so of course we do it. But yes, since I have 6 hearts now, I will be transferring those hearts over to the Demise fight after this. So hey, I get a little bit of safety during Demise. Silver linings.
Yeah, so once again, because we have the puny little goddess sword, the true Master Sword does a lot more damage than the Goddess Sword does, which is what the game is expecting. So if Pippi doesn't do the stun locks with the Skyward Strike, you have to hit Girahim on the order of something ridiculous, like 50 times, I think? Just because of how little damage the current sword does. Because each of these Skyward Strikes that Pippi is doing actually deals true Master Sword damage. Which is one of the benefits of Hero Mode, is that the Skyward Strike gets the damage value of the true Master Sword.
Let's hear it for backflips. Or whatever that was.
Yeah, backflips basically make you invincible in this game. It's kind of cool.
It's pretty.
Dodge basically any attack with a backflip.
Oh, come on.
Almost.
This trick is not being nice to
Yeah, sometimes with the motion controls, it can be hard to consistently charge a Skyward Strike. Because sometimes Link will just like go between the motions of like barely not charging a Skyward Strike and then charging it, and then that kind of just ruins the whole sequence.
Apparently we're going to go to backup strats because that is not working for me. We're gonna just boop him in the chest a whole bunch. And he's gonna lick things. Where has that sword been? Like, here it is.
I'll take questions I don't want answers for 500.
There we go.
Yeah, so not only is the fight long, but because you're doing so much, or so many sword movements, it actually can become, like, physically tiring to do this fight a lot, like, for practice, because of how much sword swinging you have to do with the Goddess Sword.
So now, unfortunately, we cannot stun lock him. Okay. Thank you. So we just kind of have to deal chip damage with our tiny toothpick. It is I, the hero of time, with my tiny little, like, deli sword, coming to poke you to death. But huzzah, we have beaten Girahim 3. For top hats everywhere.
Now everyone's top hats are safe.
Yes. Thanks to me and my toothpick. Just kidding, Demise is here now.
Well, thankfully, Demise doesn't know the difference between a toothpick and the true Master Sword, so he takes equal damage from both. So the only thing that's, like, actually a negative about having the Goddess Sword versus the true Master Sword is that the Goddess Sword is a little shorter, so you do have to stand a little bit closer to Demise to actually hit him, but other than that, he takes the same amount of damage.
Phase 1 down. That's the scary part. I know he's got like an electrified sword now, but trust me, this is the non-scary part. Because I also have an electrified sword.
And unlike him, you actually hit him.
Excuse me? Time is coming up shortly. Up now. I don't know how I missed it the first time. Well, not an ideal run, unfortunately, but no run ever is. But that was all of Skyward Sword. No parts omitted. Definitely not. Didn't skip
Wait.
anything. Nope.
Nope.
The whole game.
This was secretly a 100%.
Yes, beginning to end, everything involved.
We even talked to Fledge.
That's the most important part, honestly. He's a really convenient friend to talk to.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been Skyward Sword SD any percent. Apologies for a couple of deaths, but that's fine. That's how it goes. This game is highly volatile, and the volatile things did not go wrong, so I'll take it. That's generally the most we can hope for. But thank you everyone for joining me on the journey of Uwu, and Uwu's two friends, Uwu and Uwu. It's a really bang for your buck file name incentive because you get 3 for 1. And thank you also, Jim, for helping me explain all of the nonsense and confusing things. And also Pacific for hanging out with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Pippi. Where can everyone find you at?
If you want to find me for some odd reason, I'm probably just going to be doing this and trying to seek revenge against Girahim for giving me bad RNG. And for threatening the good of top hats. I'm PippyInATopHat on most things, and one of them is Twitch, where I do the things that is usually this, and sometimes keep talking.
And Jim, did you have any plugs or shoutouts you wanted to give?
I guess, just shout-outs to all the people involved for, making this current route of Skyward Sword as nonsensical as it is. And shoutouts to just the Lady Arcaders in general for putting on an awesome marathon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much, Pippi and Jim, for that amazing, amazing run. Pippi, that was just such a great Skyward Sword run. Can we get some love for her in the chat, y'all?
You also know that it was a good run because we're all comfy in our pajamas. My pajamas is apparently a Lady Arcader's shirt, but it felt appropriate.
What a great run that was, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Coming up next, we do have the next Legend of Zelda game, A Link to the Past randomizer. This is going to be by Grey Goo Girl. You guys don't want to miss this. It's going to be a lot of fun. And for anyone who's just joining us, you are watching the Lady Arcaders Super Showcase, aka LAS. We are an all-women charity talent showcase event, and we're running from July 6th through tomorrow, the 9th, and we are benefiting CARE. The Super Showcase features a bunch of talented women showing off games that they love. Make sure to tune in today and tomorrow for the last couple of days, and please tell your friends. Spread the word. CARE is an amazing charity organization. All of your donations are going to benefit CARE. Founded in 1945, CARE is a leading humanitarian organization fighting global poverty. CARE has more than 7 decades of experience delivering emergency aid during times of crisis, working in over 110 countries. Our emergency responses focus on the needs of the most vulnerable populations, particularly girls and women. To learn more, visit www.care.org. And an update for y'all on those incentives that we have going right now. We still have about $125 left for Muse Dash Flip the Track. And what that is it's gonna make our rhythm game Muse Dash that Fina2112 is going to be doing in just a couple runs here. The last couple of songs, it's gonna flip the notes. So the ones that she'd usually be hitting with her right hand, she'll have to hit them with her left hand and vice versa. So it's gonna make what's already a hard couple of songs even more difficult. It's gonna be very cool to see. So please make sure to get those donations in and put them towards that incentive. We also have our Animal Crossing New Horizons, the vacation design. Who are we designing for? A vacation home. Right now we have Kit Kat in the lead, and Tom Nook is in second place. Kit Kat, each of the options, they all have a different kind of prompt. So Raymond wants a tailor shop home. Kit Kat, the one that's currently in the lead, wants a secret base. Tom Nook has a free choice option. Isabel wants a moment to relax. And then Sable option is a free choice, but I do have some information about Sable that apparently it's going to be a bit more of a challenge because there's going to be some surprise in there if we do choose Sable. So, you know, if we want to make Critique Courts sweat a little bit more, that is a great option to choose. And right now, the leading option is $25, so it's anyone's game right now. We can still have, we have a couple more runs to go till we get to that one, so anyone can take the lead on that option.